Hi everyone, welcome or welcome back. So I am gonna do a little meal prep video. A couple people asked me like what I do and stuff, so I figure I'll try. I did try to film a video and I messed up a few of the like the steps, and then I forgot, so I just deleted everything and started all over today. So I plan to make chicken fajitas and salmon with some like homemade teriyaki sauce. It's not really like a teriyaki. Teriyaki is like some soy sauce and basically sugar. But I'm just gonna be doing that. I'm gonna show you guys what I do. It's not perfect. Like I still take to me, I feel like I still need to work on my time management for like meal prep, and I feel like I still take a little bit long. But anyway, I don't do it all the time, so practice makes perfect. So I'm gonna try and like manage my like time here and try to do like the long stuff in the beginning, and then I guess the easy stuff, I don't know, but I'm gonna show you guys what I do and go from there. I'm gonna show you guys what I bought. All right, so for my breakfast, I normally eat eggs all the time with avocado, and I usually do either these bagel thins or the English muffins. I started putting some everything bagel seasoning on my eggs, and it tastes so good. And I usually throw in an avocado, like half of an avocado in my eggs with this seasoning. Or if I don't have the bagel thins, I'll use the English muffins, and I'll put the avocado on that smushed up with this, and it tastes so good. And then like the remaining, I'll just throw it in my eggs. So I usually do that every morning during the week because I do have a full-time job. And the other option I have is oats. So I usually get some oats and I throw in some brown sugar. I only use like a tablespoon and a half maybe, and with some strawberries, but I usually do that at home because for some reason I don't like the way it tastes when I do it at work. The water, I don't know, the microwave, the water, I don't know what it is, but it just tastes different to me. So that's for breakfast. For my afternoon snack, I usually get some of this phage to me. I know it's pronounced something different, but that's phage to me. So I usually get this as a snack like afternoon before I go to the gym. And I usually eat that with a banana chopped up, and I put it in there. I feel like that's the best tasting to me instead of like strawberries. I feel like the bananas are a little bit sweeter. So that's my afternoon snack. Or I usually get some rice cakes and I'll throw some almond butter on there and I'll eat that. Depends like how hungry I am, but usually it's the yogurt because that kind of fills me up a little bit more. All right, so for my lunch, I'm going to be doing salmon teriyaki with some broccoli, probably steamed, and some basmati rice for lunch. And for dinner, because the chicken fajitas, like I need like the tortillas, I got this and all that, like I need to put it together. I'm gonna choose to eat that for dinner because it's easier for me to like just take it out at home instead of packing everything and taking it for lunch. So I'm gonna make chicken fajitas. I'm gonna chop these up. I'm gonna chop up some peppers, onions, and some cheese. I got the reduced fat cheese. I always get this one because I'm like obsessed with cheese on my fajitas. I go over the recommended amount. So I'm gonna do that with some sour cream. And these carb balance, the macros on here are pretty good. That's why we always get these now. So like one tortilla is only 70 calories, and there's a lot of protein for a tortilla, and the carbs are only like 18 grams for one. So I think that's pretty good. So we usually get these, and I usually eat 2 of them. So that's why I need to go for like, I think that's that for like these couple days of food. I don't know what else I'm making for like the rest of the week. So I don't know if I'm gonna film that, but let's see. So I'm gonna start off with cooking the rice, and then after the rice, I'm gonna start chopping up the vegetables because I feel like that takes forever. Okay, so I'm going to start with the rice, since you want to start with the stuff that takes a little bit longer and kind of like the stuff that you could set and forget. So I'm using 4 cups of water for 2 cups of rice. Depending on the rice that you have, that's what you go by. I have basmati, I forgot the brand, but that's what I recommended. And I put that on a high heat and I let it sit until it boiled, until like all the water absorbed. And as the rice was cooking, I decided to do the broccoli. I have like a steamer kind of pan, a wok. I don't even know what this is, but it has like a rack that I could put the broccoli on top as the water boils from the bottom, and it basically steams it. So I washed the broccoli. I just gave it like a quick little rinse, and then I started to cut them in pieces. So there isn't like a special way to cut broccoli, but I usually cut it small enough to where like it's more comfortable putting it, like biting into it, because I feel like bigger pieces I can't really bite. It's weird. I don't know. I'm a weirdo. But I like them smaller basically, and then smaller because they could fit in my container a little bit better. I feel like when they're too big, it doesn't like sit right in my meal prep containers and they don't close right and all that stuff. So I usually go on the smaller side when I cut my broccoli. So after I was done cutting the broccoli, the water started boiling for the rice. So I added in my 2 cups of rice and I put the lid on it, but you don't want to put the lid on to where like it's completely covered. You want to leave like an open gap so that way it doesn't overflow when it absorbs all the water. And then after that, I decided to put the broccoli on the steamer pan or whatever that is. That way they could kind of both cook at the same time. And plus the broccoli, it cooks really, really fast. Like you kind of have to keep an eye on it because you can overcook your broccoli and you don't want to do that. So I started washing my peppers for the fajitas, and as for like the fajitas, I like cutting them long ways so that way they fit better on the like the wrap. They fit long ways. I kind of like them when they fit long ways more. And I just cut all of them. I cut the tops, and I try not to waste as much like vegetables as I can. So like I'll start cutting the tops off, and then I'll cut as much off as I think I would like, and then just throw away the rest. So for the rice, I usually give it a quick stir after it absorbs like all the water, and then I let it sit for like another, I think like 15 minutes. The rice doesn't really take that long. I think like the boiling process, and then after that maybe like 15 minutes, and then another 15 minutes. I then checked on the broccoli, and you can kind of tell by the color when it's done. See how it looks nice and green? That's when you know the broccoli is done. I then started the onions. I tried to save the cutting, like I try to cut everything and then cut the onions last because my eyes are really sensitive to onions. So I cut these I guess long ways too. I don't really know how would you call this. Like I cut the middle, I take the I peel off, you know, the top layer, and then I cut them to where they look like little half circles. I kind of like them better like that because it doesn't take long, and again I like the way it lays better on the wrap. So now that the broccoli and the rice is done, because I need more room, I decided to take it out of the pot. First, because I think like if you leave your food in the pot as it's hot, I feel like it cooks more than you really want it to cook. And I don't want it to like overcook the rice, and I didn't want it to be dry, and I definitely did not want to overcook the broccoli. So I decided to take both of them out and put them in plastic containers. All right, so I'm going to start the peppers and the onions. I'm going to cook half of the batch because I did cut up a lot of peppers and onions. So I added a little bit of coconut oil because that handles more of a higher heat. Because I do like cooking my onions and peppers on a high heat. I like them really nice and soft for my fajitas. And another trick that I do, I cover the pan when I'm done. That way the heat and steam kind of cooks them down a little bit faster. And then towards the end, I kind of take it off. So for the salmon teriyaki sauce, I made up my own kind of teriyaki. So I'm using like about 1 cup of low sodium soy sauce. Then I mashed up a couple garlic cloves. I don't really measure how much garlic I use. I do like a lot of garlic, so probably use like 4 of them. And then I added some of like the sesame seeds I had left over, and then a little bit of honey, about a tablespoon I think I used, and about another tablespoon of brown sugar. And then I just mixed the mixture up. It's kind of like a runny mixture. It's not really like a thick mixture. I guess you could add cornstarch if you want. I didn't this time, and it worked out fine. So after giving it a good mix, I put it right in the pan, and then I added the salmon on top of the sauce. But I did it with the skin, not the skin part, the opposite side, face down first. I did it this way because I feel like I take off the skin anyway. So towards the end, I'm going to flip it over and let it cook on the opposite side. And then it'll be easy for me to just like take off the skin. And while these two are cooking, I'm going to just clean up a little bit. That way I could have more room and I won't feel so like if I have anxiety because of this mess. So I am a big advocate of cleaning as you go. I feel like as soon as you have like downtime in the kitchen, you should always clean as you go. You don't want to deal with like a whole big mess after cooking like all this stuff first and then dealing with the mess afterwards. No, I usually clean as I go. That way it's not that much to clean up at the end. Alright, so I'm going to show you like how I typically like my peppers and onions. That's why I cook them first, so that way they could be nice and soft. But this is how I like them. See how they're like nice and burnt? I love them like this, so that's why I always cook them first. So after they were done, I did the same thing. I took them off the pan and put them in a plastic container. So I I flipped this over and see how like nice and cooked that side is. So now I'm just gonna cook the other side and it should be done within like 10 minutes. All right, so I kind of cut the salmon in pieces. That way it was easier for me to like scoop up because it was like a big piece that I threw in there. So I just grabbed it carefully. That way it doesn't break up too much. And I put it in another plastic container. And when I was done, I just took off the piece of skin that was at the bottom and I got rid of that. And then I saved the liquid inside of another separate container. All right, so I decided to start cutting the chicken. I filleted them, and then I cut them in strips. I like them more on the thinner side. That way they cook faster. And again, I like the way they feel inside of the, like on my wrap. I feel like it's more like a fajita when they're like thinner. And I would suggest doing this when something else is cooking, but since my kitchen was a mess, and this is why I say start off with like a clean kitchen and clean as you go. I would have had time to do this earlier, but I didn't. So I'm doing it now. And then I just season it with taco seasoning because I didn't have fajita seasoning, but I think it's all the same crap anyway. All right, so after I was done cutting them, I used 2 pans. That way it could be a little bit faster because I had so much chicken anyway. So I just spread the chicken all out on the pan. I don't like overcrowding the pan with chicken because I feel like it's weird. Like it doesn't really cook right. So I like spreading it out good enough, but not having them too close, not too far away. And I just let them cook on one side and then flip them over later on. So what I learned about cooking chicken is to just leave it alone. As soon as I put it on the pan, I just let it like, cook and stuff. And when it starts getting like a little bit white on like the outer, I guess, rim or whatever, then I flip it. So you see how it's kind of like white around? I feel like that was like the best way to start flipping it over and stuff. And it kind of like doesn't stress me out as much as like when the chicken is all in there and I'm trying to like turn it and all that stuff. I feel like this way is so much better. Oh my god, I'm so tired. Like I've been cleaning this kitchen as I cook, and it seems like after I clean it gets like piled up again because of all the pots and pans. But anyway, I'm finally done. So I didn't like individually prep them like in the containers. I did put them in like big containers, like all the broccoli, all the salmon, rice, and so on, because I didn't want the refrigerator to get full of containers, and plus I don't even have enough to do that. I plan to buy some more of the I want to buy the glass ones because I heard they're a little bit better, and I'm tired of freaking cleaning the plastic, and it's like the oil is so hard to come off. So I'm tired of that. But this is how everything looks. I have bought these big containers last week because of this, because I knew it would be easier for us to just put everything in containers and just take what I need out and put it in a separate container as I need it. So I have the chicken, the peppers for the chicken, the tortilla wraps are still in the plastic because I only need that when I need this. the rice, broccoli, all the salmon is in here. I actually took out the salmon's juice because I like weighing this out and then adding the juice on top of the rice, because this does add like calories, but I kind of like seeing how much it is when I weigh it by itself. And even with this too, I don't really count these as like in my calories, but I do like weighing the chicken out, and I do like taking exactly what I need and then adding the peppers afterwards, so I can have more of a like a closer estimate of how much protein I'm getting. But that's pretty much it. Anything else I actually grab as I go, like my snacks and stuff, I just grab them in the morning when I do my breakfast for the day. But I guess that was it. So I hope you guys liked the video. I'm gonna try to do these a little bit more often if I remember. So but yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed, and I see you in the next one.